right? Because at the end of the day, all networking is trying to make that first initial connection with somebody to see if there's a vibe, to see if there's a sense of give and take, of mutual interest, curiosity, and then to let that build into something that might lead you both to a win, to an opportunity, might lead you both to some kind of yes that you want to get more of in your life. But it all starts with that initial moment of connection.
Do you want to feel amazing after your next talk? Engaging and memorable? Calm in front of an audience? Then you're in the right place. Stronger Public Speaking offers massive ROI, helping you stand out, advance your career, and influence others. When Colin Ryan speaks, audiences lean in, laugh, interact, and make meaningful changes. He will show you how you can become an influential communicator, storyteller, and leader in hours, not years. Here's Colin Ryan.
Let's talk about networking from the place of I'm not so confident. I'm not feeling good in my skin. I'm not feeling like I know what to say. I'm actively fearing what if I don't know what to say. In other words, let's talk about networking like a normal human being. All right, maybe you've been in these situations and you've looked over and you've noticed somebody who just seems ultra confident, big laugh, walking up to anybody, that sort of thing, and you think, "What are they doing? What sort of social confidence performance enhancing drugs are they using to be able to do this?" Because I'm in my head, right? Well, so I want to offer a couple thoughts. Number one, I have been both of the people in that visual. I have been the person who looks like they're very confident and can talk to anyone, and I've also been the person who is like, "What are they doing that I'm not doing? Because I don't feel I want to go home." And so, what I will tell you is that for me, being a person who can talk to anybody is largely a function of liking myself and giving myself a lower bar, taking the pressure off, telling myself, hey, everyone here is awkward. But also, most of us like talking about ourselves. So maybe my sort of trick, my path, my survival method through this wilderness of discomfort is just to find somebody and ask them about themselves and just listen, because that way I don't have to have the perfect thing to say because I'm just here to be curious and interested. So, what I'm trying to say is there have been times when I have shown up and felt like this is going to be so fun. I can't wait to talk to people. And there have been times when I've thought, I did not bring that guy with me today. And this is going to be the opposite of fun. I want to tell you about a recent experience where I did something as a function of not feeling confident, feeling in my head, that actually worked really well and might serve you really well. So let's talk about how to network when you are in your head about it. So the watchword, the thing that I try to trust is this idea of what does it mean to be myself? What does it mean to trust myself and to trust my instincts, as opposed to doing what I'm supposed to do? Um, what does it look like to be authentic? So a good example of this would be, rather than to throw a bunch of buzzwords at people and try to sound impressive, it would be to, when somebody tells you a job you don't understand, to be like, I don't know what that is. Can you tell me more about that? And not beat yourself up about not knowing, right? It's about going up to a stranger and talking to them, but also being willing to acknowledge, hey, my heart is like pounding right now. Aren't you glad they're serving alcohol? Because this feels a little bit uncomfortable. And just kind of being a little bit more transparent and being on your own team. So I go to this networking event and I am feeling like I don't want to be here. I haven't got it. I should go home. I didn't bring my dog, who's a great conversation starter because he's so cute. People just pet him and then there we go. So it's just me. And it's like only just begun. So there's still people kind of milling around. And I notice this guy and he kind of gives me a look. And I'm like, oh, he and I are doing the same thing. We're both trying to figure out how to get started. And he said it keeps going and he sits in a bench off to the side. And I think, all right, that's going to be my person. So I walk over to him and I introduce myself. His name is Lucas. And I say to Lucas, tell me, Lucas, If 1 is not confident at all and 10 is 100% confidence, how confident are you right now? How are you feeling right now about networking? And he was like a 3, like a 4. And before he could even be sheepish about it, I said, "Yeah, me too." I'm like a 4 and I've been a 9. So it's interesting to be a 4 today. What makes you a 3, Lucas? And he talked about he'd recently lost his job and he was kind of trying to get back out there and make connections. And so, I mean, that's hard, right? He's kind of taken a shot to the ego and now he's having to learn to swim again and all this stuff. And, networking when you have a very clear agenda and there's pressure around it, it can feel a little undignified, right? You're sort of like, how do I just get the thing? How do I get the opportunity? Why do I have to do all this? And I understand that. And so, without really intending to, I asked him a question that had a really easy answer. And then it allowed me to match his vulnerability and say, I'm also a lower number. And we were able to kind of talk about that. I got a sense of what Lucas did. I didn't understand it, very technical. I didn't have any connections for him, but we were now having a conversation and starting to feel more comfortable. At one point, I remember Lucas mentioned, I said, "So what do you like to do outside of work? What else does your life look like?" And he said after a moment, "I'm really into dance." I went, "Oh my God, tell me everything." So he started listing all these different types of dance that he had studied and learned and really like grown in his craft. I mean, it was really wild. And he did this long list. And in the middle, he said belly and then kept going. And I was like, I'm just going to pause you. Did you say belly dancing? And so we had this really fun, like goofy conversation where, probably people around us were talking about their job titles and doing all that stuff. And it just felt great. It really felt it really felt great. It felt human. And a friend of mine came and sat down, and the three of us started chatting. He and I started to have a good chat. And then at one point, Lucas started to look around the room because he was ready to get into it. And he excused himself and he went. And I had this nice little feeling of like, cool, I was Lucas's starter networker. And he was for me. And so I share that with you because even if you look into that room of people and you think, I don't have it today, I feel self-conscious. I feel like, I don't want to do this. What am I going to say? Trust yourself. Maybe you go from there. Just name what you're feeling. And if the other person is like, doesn't meet you there, if you say, oh, I'm a little nervous and they go, why? No, then you find a quick excuse to, I'm going to get another drink or I'm going to run to the restroom and just go talk to someone else. That's the beauty of networking. You can chat with somebody you know right away if you want to keep talking to them or not. But do you see what I'm saying? Like, show up authentically. Chances are you'll find other people feel very similarly and they'll be refreshed by your willingness to just put it out there. And yeah, come with a question. Now that I made that question up, and I'm glad I did because now I have it. I have it as a tool, and so do you. And so maybe next time you go to a networking thing and you feel a little bit off, maybe you find yourself a starter networking friend, right? Because at the end of the day, all networking is trying to make that first initial connection with somebody to see if there's a vibe, to see if there's a sense of give and take, of mutual interest, curiosity, and then to let that build into something that might lead you both to a win, to an opportunity, might lead you both to some kind of yes that you want to get more of in your life. But it all starts with that initial moment of connection. And so rather than not doing it, rather than overthinking it, take a bet on yourself, give it a try, ask a preloaded question, or just label how you're feeling in the moment. And you never know, because you might talk to somebody whose answer will be so cool and so genuine, and they will totally surprise you.
Do you have a speaking opportunity coming up? Would you like to feel amazing after your next talk? Check out our free resources at speaknextweek.com. Or speak to Colin personally to get a free recommendation on what you can do next to become a stronger public speaker. Because in less time than you think, you can transform public speaking from something you have to do into something you love to do.